going on, MMA fans? I felt compelled to do a video response to Mark, and let me just say first off to Mark ahead of time, kudos for doing what you did, and it just goes to show that not a lot of people would take the time to sit down and literally go round by round for the Forrest vs. Rampage fight. Now, ahead of time, what I will tell you, please go check out all 5 of his videos, because if you haven't watched them, this video is not going to make any sense. And I'm really going to do a comparison to how I scored this fight, and also, real quick before I even get into this, apologize for something, because I feel like I made a mistake. In my UFC 86 review video, I mentioned that I thought Forrest definitely won this fight, and I got a lot of flack for it, and what I'll say is, really, I think I did deserve it. And not because, in anyone's view, Forrest or Rampage winning this fight, either one, whatever your opinion may be of the fight, but because it should have been the comment and in the viewpoint of, I felt Forrest won the fight, which is different from definitely. And always with my videos I try to stay unbiased as possible, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with this video, because I want to show how I felt about this fight, but also go outside the spectrum and explain how I saw this fight unbiasedly, and even link you to a stat tracker for this so that you can see what I'm talking about, which I'm going to do, and it's going to be over on this side of the page. Okay, first of all, predictions videos. Pick Rampage Jackson. I stated that in my predictions video, why I thought he would win. Stronger clinch, thought he had the better stand-up game, thought he had the better wrestling. The only place that I thought Rampage didn't excel against Forrest was in the jiu-jitsu. If you haven't seen Forrest Griffin's jiu-jitsu, check out his fight against Jeremy Horn. Did really good in that fight up until the point, if you've seen the fight, you know what happens with Jeremy Horn. I won't ruin that, but nonetheless, I scored this fight very similar to how Mark scored it. And the only difference between me and Mark is that I scored round 3 10-10 as a draw. And the only reason that I did that is I felt, from what I watched, that Rampage did enough, and this round was just back and forth really all around, that you could score that round 10-10. Now, I went back and watched this round several times because I just wanted to get a different perspective, and even had other people watch it with me because I went to work today. And I had a friend of mine that's very, very big into the UFC watch it, and he felt, based upon watching it, that Forrest won that round. And, really watching it again, I almost could have given Forrest that round. But I felt that it was a 10-10 draw in that round. Round 1, simple. Rampage dominated the round. The knockdown, everything. It's clear-cut. I don't think you can argue that round. Round 2, the difference between round 1 is Forrest, and let me explain why I scored it this way. Round 1, 10-9. Forrest did enough in that round to get a 10-9, meaning he got enough to get 9 on the judge's scorecard. In the second round, Rampage did absolutely nothing offensively, which in that round, based upon the positions that Forrest had, he had side control, he had mount. That's a 10-8 round, and Rampage did nothing offensively. Round 3, I gave it 10-10. Round 4, all Rampage. Round 5, Forrest. That's how I scored it. Based upon that, you come out with the score 48-47. Now, real quick, if you go on to Fight Metric, which again, like I said, I put the link up over on the side, you will see that Forrest Griffin landed altogether, combined with his with combinations thrown with his hands and leg kicks, he outstruck Rampage Jackson in this fight. It's on the stat tracker, and if you don't believe me, like I said, I put the link up over on the side. That being said, Forrest did not outstrike Rampage when it comes to the hands. Now, that's something that I've noticed a lot in the arguments, and they're valid. But here's what I really challenge you to do. MMA in its whole self is not just striking with hands. It's not a boxing match. You have to remember that everything is utilized in an MMA match. Leg kicks, combinations with the hands, grappling, all of that, okay? Based upon the leg kicks and Forrest combinations that he threw with his hands, he outstruck Rampage in this fight, okay? He controlled this fight in rounds 2 and 5 convincingly, at least how I looked at the fight. And round 3, I thought that was left up to interpretation. A lot of people gave it to Forrest, which really is where you get the score that a lot of the judges had was 48-46, was because of round 3, now that I go back and look at it. But I gave that round a 10-10. It's 48-47. But Forrest did outstrike Rampage in this fight. Combined leg kicks and hands. Submission attempts, he had more. I mean, if you're going to come along the point that Rampage had more striking combinations, landing and throwing is two totally different things. And being aggressive is also a totally different thing, which, look at round 1, Rampage was aggressive. Look at round 2, no aggression. Round 3, Rampage, semi-aggressive. The end of round 4 and the end of round 5 is really where Rampage was aggressive completely. Otherwise, Forrest was the aggressor. And again, I challenge you to go back, look at this fight unbiasedly, and watch it. Because, again, I picked Rampage to win this fight. I wanted him to win. But when I went back and watched this fight, this is the conclusions that I came to. And I also want to say something else, that I don't agree with the 10-point must system. I never have. I love how the Pride way of scoring MMA fights works. It works. It works effectively. There's some alterations that would need to be done with it, but the 10-point must system is not the best system. If you don't, if you haven't seen my video about, MMA, the issues with scoring, judging, and reffing, go check that video out. I talk about the scoring system and how I don't agree with it and what some of the issues are. And I really feel that even in this fight, it was somewhat prevalent. I also mentioned that I thought that this really should have been a split decision. And what I meant by that, and I really didn't clarify it, is I just found it hard to believe that one judge didn't score this fight for Rampage. I didn't feel that, really clear-cut that this fight was won by either fighter, but watching it again, I felt that, that Forrest won for the reasons that I stated not only in my UFC 86 review video, but the reasons I'm stating now. So, it comes down to really what I've said, and I challenge you to go back, watch this fight, and do not, this is the key, because this is how I had to look at the fight. Do not go in with preconceptions of who you thought won the fight. You need to go in unbiasedly and watch this fight. And if you do, and you score it based upon the 10-point must system, which, again, I don't agree with it, but you use the 10-point must system, Forrest won, I think, in my opinion, this fight. So, leave me some comments, constructive, negative, positive. Again, Mark, thank you for doing what you did. Check his video out. Check out my videos about the MMA issues with scoring, ref, and judging. You'll see how I talked about that. And on that note, you guys, have a great day.